afternoon. Got my triangles out. Placed where they're supposed to be. My warning light and alarm came on. Stop engine, coolant critically low, it said. So I pulled off right away, because that is critical. Pulled off the road right away onto the shoulder, shut it off, got out, looked. The little hole in the hose blowing out everywhere. Antifreeze everywhere. It's my contribution to the environment. So now I'm out here just enjoying the atmosphere. And the local insect population, they all came to see me. All I need is a $5 piece of rubber hose and about 15 minutes with a screwdriver and I'd have it fixed. I don't have any rubber hose. Standing in my own light. This hose right here split right there and blew out. It's probably maybe 8 inches long. 2 screws. One on each end. New hose. It's an old one too. This whole thing is wet. Wet out there. Wet down the road. Wet out on the shoulder of the road. Leaked out all my coolant. All my antifreeze is gone. Most of it at least. Figured it's a bit safer on the exit ramp since the shoulder's kind of narrow than out there on the highway, because the shoulder was just as narrow out there. At least everybody going past me here, they got a wide lane to drive in, and the hell was I going to say? They're going slower, going past me here. Instead of 75, they're doing 50 something or so. It's not extremely hot. That's a good thing, because you know, I can't have the truck running. I got no antifreeze in it. And it's been a cool summer so far, so it's not too bad. I mean, it's hot, but you could be out here dying like Beavis and Butthead in the desert. When it gets extremely hot or extremely cold and you're stuck on the side of the road with your truck that doesn't run, then that starts to cause problems. Good morning. I made it to Plymouth, Minnesota, to my destination. I'm getting unloaded. Yesterday, a dude came out with a rubber hose, hooked me up with a rubber hose, about 7 gallons of antifreeze. I rode off into the sunset. It worked out pretty good, other than sitting there for 3 hours. Because I was short about 2 hours on my drive time. My electronic logging device wouldn't allow me to drive any longer. So I stopped in Albert Lee, Minnesota, so I could get some sleep. And got up this morning and had some breakfast. That was really good. Kind of was looking forward to that anyway. It's been a long time since I've been able to stop at that location. They got really good chicken. You're gonna pay for it though if you want it for breakfast. They used to have chicken for breakfast there. All a la carte now. It's worth the wait and it's worth the money if you got it. That's a lot. I was about 2 hours late to my destination, and they didn't give me any kind of hassle or anything. People called, said I was running late, truck broke down, blah blah, whatever. Now I'm here doing it. Plymouth, Minnesota. For those of you that don't know, I'm a company driver. I don't have to pay for fuel or maintenance or whatever. Sometimes it works out pretty good. My situation that I had yesterday, for example, I'm stopped on the road, on the highway, roughly 50 miles away from anywhere that has parts or tools or a guy to be able to put them on. So I called a couple of places, get their prices and stuff. They were all relatively close to one another in price, so I'll just give you one example. I was 50 miles away. They start off the top, it's $105 just for the service call. So the serviceman in his little truck with his tools and stuff in it, for him to put the key in the ignition and turn it, that's $105. He's 50 miles away from me. They charge $1 per mile. So far we're at 105, 155. And that's kind of a cheap rate. I've paid as much as $250 just for the service call, on top of the mileage and the parts and the labor and everything. Okay, so the labor for the guy is also $105 per hour. Now, some places they do it differently, but this place they started charging when the guy started his truck. They charge labor at the same time that they're charging mileage. So for him to start his truck, let it warm up, drive to where I'm at, get in position to work on my truck, we'll say that's an hour. On top of our $155, that's another $105. That's $260. And he hasn't done any work yet. He just got there. He showed up. For some reason I'm thinking my math is wrong in my head. $260. Now, he also has to work on the truck. That takes time. That's per hour. That $105 per hour. In this case, the guy was relatively unorganized. Didn't exactly have what he needed, so it took him a little bit longer than maybe it could have. So it took one whole hour. That's another $105 for the labor. $365 so far. And now, you know, he's got to bring parts. I had a rubber hose. It literally was like this long. Rubber hose. I could go to AutoZone right now in my car and buy that for less than $5. That means he probably charged me $20 for it. Just a guess. I don't know. They're billing the company, not me. I think I've got a fly collection in here now. So ironically, the parts cost $105, which is also their service call charge and their hourly labor rate, $105. So that puts us to $105, $470. So you got $470. Now, this is where it gets kind of funny, frustrated, and tricky. When I talked to the guy on the phone, which is just like sitting at his house enjoying his Father's Day, I don't blame him. He's sending a guy out there to work on the weekend, on a Sunday. He's charging also for that guy to get back mileage and labor rate. So keep in mind, it was 50 miles. That's rounded up to 1 hour a time, but 50 miles is $50 or so, and 1 hour of driving. That's going to come out to be $625 now. $625 for a $5 rubber hose. Only because Sunday and you're on the side of the road. I don't fault the people. That's what they're in business to do. It's to come out on the road and fix trucks. That's what they do. They're going to charge you for it. But I'm just want to make it clear to anybody that may be wondering, that's how much it costs. And that is actually a fairly inexpensive labor rate and mileage rate. $1 a mile and $105 per hour for labor. It's actually pretty cheap. Trying to see if I had missed anything, but it doesn't look like it. Now this isn't the guy that I actually had come out. This was another guy that was, his prices were very comparable to 2 other guys that I had called. The guy that actually came out was someone that the company got a hold of somehow. I was unable to find them. I was only able to find the ones that I called. So they saved some money. I don't know how much. because, like I said, I didn't have to pay for it. My money stayed in my pocket. But it gets expensive.